heart strong. Jesus, keep me from all wrong. I'll be satisfied as long as I walk, dear Lord, close to Thee. Just a closer walk with Thee. Grant it, Jesus, is my plea. Daily walking close to Thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. Through this world of toil and snares, if I falter, Lord, who cares? Who with me my burden shares? None but Thee, dear Lord, none but Thee. Just a closer walk with Thee. Grant it, Jesus, is my plea. Daily walking close to Thee. Let it be, dear Lord, let it be. When my feeble life is o'er, time for me will be no more. God,
justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. I want to start a series of lessons this morning. Become a people who reflect God's justice by refusing false judgment, by guarding the innocent, by resisting rumor and speaking truth with righteousness and humility. The series is rooted in obligation, not merely in things which are good for us, not merely in things which are profitable for us, not merely in things which we might consider. Micah doesn't present justice as an optional virtue, as something that is desirable for us to have. No, he presents it as a divine requirement. The text doesn't ask what institutions must do. I want us to be clear about that. The text asks, what does the Lord require of you, an individual person? To do justice is not merely to oppose evil. It is to reflect the character of God in our judgments, in our speech, and in our treatment of others. And before we can understand how to judge rightly, we have to first understand what God forbids. And we want to focus in our lesson this morning on protecting. They happen when we fill in missing details with suspicion instead of restraint. We live in a world that is saturated with fragments, headlines without context, statements without verification, stories without witnesses. The human heart is very quick to assemble fragments into verdicts. We like conclusion. Scripture does not treat this lightly. And so our question this morning is, what does God require of us when another person's reputation, with another person's standing, when another person's innocence is at stake? What does God require of us? And I want to turn your attention to begin with to Exodus chapter 23 and verse 7. Exodus 23 and verse 7. This is kind of a primary text for this study this morning. where it says, keep far from a false charge and do not kill the innocent, and separation from the entire process that leads to the wrongful judgment. It calls with the divine refusal to acquit someone who would instigate or propagate such, being the wicked. God's justice includes protecting the innocent. Justice in Scripture is not defined by only punishing wrongdoing. I think that's what people think about. Part of that arises because we call our court system a justice system, and we associate our court system with the criminal court system, which is only a small portion of our court system, but that's another story. That's what we associate with it. And so we associate justice with the punishment of evildoers. But that's not really all that justice is. It's more than just punishing wrongdoing. It's also defined by protecting those that are righteous. After all, that great statement in Romans 13 about the purpose of the civil authorities is not only that they carry the sword to execute judgments against evildoers, but also that they're there to preserve those who do what is righteous. That's what justice involves. Proverbs 17 and verse 15. He who justifies the wicked and he who condemns the righteous are both alike an abomination to the Lord. Two distortions. Those that justify the wicked, that try to act like wicked behavior is okay, and those who condemn the righteous. That would suggest that a righteous person is not okay. Both of them equally detestable before God. One of them is not elevated above another. One of them is not more important than the other. Both of them in this verse are set as equal. He who justifies the wicked and he who condemns the righteous are both alike an abomination. Condemning the righteous is just as offensive as excusing the wicked. We yell in horror when we believe that a wicked person goes set free. We often say nothing about the condemnation of good people. This passage doesn't leave room for that. They're equally abominations. Isaiah intensifies this in Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 23. Woe to those, begins the series